did somebody else? Oh, I'm sorry.
¿Qué dijo primero del español?
Okay.
So the young lady.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't we had an extra person in there that I wasn't aware. Why don't you come forward and why don't you finish? Is that, or Benny, did you want to comment now?
Well, I had a particular question about this package of material. Am I understanding that that package of material was given like for it to be read over the summer, and that was going to be the condition for that child to go into an English classroom?
Un poco. No, pregunta si el niño, las hojas que le dieron era como la condición de que él pudiera terminar eso. No, era para que ayudara. It was to help.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. And were you ever told that as a parent you have the option of that child not being in the bilingual program?
¿Y usted como madre le habían explicado que tenía la opción? No, solamente me dijeron que porque yo no hablaba inglés tenía que ponerlo en bilingüe. No, they only told me that because I didn't speak English, he had to be in bilingual.
See, this is another example of a policy not being implemented the way this Board of Education has said for that policy to be implemented. So we need to look into that, and I'll ask the superintendent to investigate that. Because you freely have the option of not having your child in a bilingual classroom.
Ay, no. Incluso cuando me dijeron lo que era bilingüe clase, me dijeron que era 50 inglés y 50 español, y no fue así. They had also told me that when they explained to me what was the bilingual program like, they told me that it was going to be 50% Spanish and 50% English, and that was not so.
¿En qué escuela está su hijo?
En
Skink. Entonces, ¿ese ocurrió en esa escuela?
Sí.
Ok, muy bien.
Thank you.
Gracias. And I apologize, I didn't mean to overlook you.
Oh, no, that's fine. I understood that there was be a little problem here. Okay, my name is Jeanine Chavez, and because my last name is Spanish, I am constantly receiving newsletters, articles, brochures, pamphlets in Spanish. And one of the reasons why I am here is because I have example after example of things that are written in Spanish. The Spanish is very poor. You have spelling mistakes, poor sentence structure. I have this, the Denver police were kind enough to give me this. Here it says, no cruces in Spanish, and this is misspelled. This is a very typical mistake of the kind of Spanish that you see out there, the level of Spanish that you see out there. And so my question is, I would like to know what the name of all of the teachers that are teaching in the bilingual education program, from what colleges or universities they have gotten their degrees in the languages that which they're teaching. I would like to know the standards that have been set for vocabulary, grammar for each grade that the children are in the schools. When do they learn about the accents, conjugation of the verbs, sentence structure, the types of speech and that, and when do they also learn it in English? When, in whatever languages they're learning, I would like to know who sets the standards, what they are for each grade, and what the expectations are as far as vocabulary and everything when they finish school, or when they finish their bilingual education. And I would also like to know what literature they are being given in both languages, in Spanish and in English, or in whatever language in English, if that is possible.
I think what you're asking really is what are the competencies and capabilities of the teachers that are teaching in our English language acquisition program.
Or bilingual education program, whatever you want to call it. Whoever is teaching the children in any language other than English.
I'm going to ask the superintendent if she can respond to that.
Okay.
Mr. Jose Perea, who is the director of our English language acquisition program, is in the adjoining room. And I would ask that he meet you out here so that he can connect with you, get your name, get your telephone number, how he can get in touch with you, and he will be a good source of information for you, and he is here tonight. So.
And I would also like to know if I could see the lectura test that these children are being given instead of the ITBS, alongside the ITBS, so I can see exactly where they are, if they are at the same levels.
I have
And
no
any other
idea
tests
if
that are
that is a
given.
test that can be shared, but certainly that is a question that you can ask Mr. Perea.
Okay.
And let me also respond that the ITBS this year is optional for elementary schools. It's no longer mandatory.
So no tests are given to the children, or tests are given to the children, but not the ITBS, or?
CSAPS, which is the state test, which is a much longer test, and it's with that test that schools will be held accountable and will be graded.
Okay.
So,
and do they have an equivalent for that in Spanish or whatever other language a child may be studying?
there is a Spanish version of the CSAP in the elementary school grades at the 3rd and 4th grade level.
And could I see those? Would it be possible? Or I need
Well,
CSAPs,
we can't see them.
We don't-
Oh, you
We can't see the
them.
English, so I doubt that we could give you they're not
Well, could I
shared.
at least find out who creates the test, who writes them, and what their credentials are?
Publishing you can contact the state for that, because the
Department of
state does it. Call the State Department of Education, but that's out of our hands.
Okay.
That every school district in the state of Colorado is required, and we have been fighting hard to make sure that the state will pay for the Spanish version of the test. They've only agreed to do it at certain grade levels and not all grade levels.
Okay. And I also just wanted to mention one more thing. Skank is not the only school where this is occurring. I have met many people who have had their children placed into bilingual education against their will. They have gone to the administrators, they have gone to the teachers, they have gone to the principals, and they have been told that they have to have their children in bilingual education, that they cannot remove them from the programs. I know 2 parents who removed their children from the Denver Public Schools completely and placed them and homeschooled them because they could not get them out of the bilingual education program. And they didn't speak Spanish, the children didn't speak Spanish, the parents didn't speak Spanish, no one spoke Spanish in the home.
As you hear of these people, it would help us if you could, either they could contact us directly, or you can get their names and you can help us with that, because we do not want that to be happening. And
Yes, I'm having them write me letters
that would be
that I
terrific.
could send to you.
And don't
The
go away
names
yet,
of
because
the
Mr.
schools.
Milner has a comment, and maybe.
Yes.
I didn't know she was finished, though.
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay. More of a comment than a question. You know, for several years, particularly on this Board of Education, there was indications that there was a silent majority out there, if you will, concerning bilingual education. And for so many times, we just hear the proponents. And so it's a change. It's a little different, and maybe it's a bubbling rebellion. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to thank you for all of you for coming and sharing a different perspective, and to show that in any community there is no monolithic group that has sway over that direction. So appreciate you just coming forward with some of that.
Okay.
We want to look into these implementation pieces, because that's always a
Please,
concern.
please, yes. Thank you.
She said maybe not the evaluation that they're going to give you right now for the speaking Spanish student. And that is one question that I have in the evaluation.
You know, you may want to talk to Jose Perea, because we are not going to be aware of the specifics that you're about to raise, and he wants to talk to you, and he is waiting for you. I want to reiterate what Mr. Milner said as well. Parents have a choice. If they're not being given that choice, we as board members and the superintendent, we need to hear about that. The other thing I want to add is that we have some schools that are only doing English immersion. We have about 3 or 4 elementary schools that are only doing English immersion. And if you want the names of those schools,